Hello everyone, and Merry Christmas. As to you all, let's open up my full look at Pokemon The Power of Us. Open on a young woman named Risa getting off school and going to see her brother in the hospital, who is better than a leg injury. His name is Rick. He has to go to one festival in Full City to catch a Pokemon, which isn't terribly experienced. She reluctantly agrees. As I pointed out before, I rather like this opening, and it almost doesn't seem like a Pokemon movie at first. It almost seems like the original Beauty and the Beast. Within the first 10 minutes or so of screen time, the other characters introduced them make their way into Full City, such as Mayor Oliver and his daughter Margot, the bragger Callahan, his sister Mia, and her daughter Kelly. There's also a young scientist named Torin and an old woman named Harriet. Ash and Pikachu don't even make their way in until they hop off a train and our title card pops on screen. I must admit, I was wondering what happened when longtime director Kunihiko Yoyama had to venture Tetsuo Yajima. I can say that I'm very happy with the result already. The animation already looks impressive, especially considering director's previous work on the XY series, the Excellent Origins miniseries. On that note, this movie builds on precedents about last year's movie, taking it as world building characterization further. It's a fairly common idea to create the world of what you're working on first, and this movie definitely goes great lengths to make a setting as carefully realized. While Yoyama is staying on an advisory role, I'm eager to see what comes next. It also helps that even though this isn't exactly what I was expecting, the script is one of the closest things to what I had in mind if I had just an existing series and reboot it, even as someone who's been vehemently opposed to the idea in the past. In between some key moments are some viral videos on Pokemon channel in relation to that lousy GameCube game. Though this guy's a bit obvious, at least Rick's game was so convincing Anarch the All-Knowing. Anyway, the purpose of his job as host is helped by the Wind Festival experience those who can't make from comfort around homes anywhere they stream. He also explains the festival dates back many years and that Lugia is somewhat prosperity to go over the city. You can tell it's the old days since the audio was kind of scratchy and the visuals were in sepia tones. Also, like the last movie, Lugia is a plot device more an inspiration to everyone. The first day of the festival has a special event and a catching race, and once you know it, Ash and Kelly to the participants. Before that happens, Ash breaks up a fight with Margot over lemons. As Ash walks with Margot to the festival, we get some backstory about how Lugia brings the city good fortune and wins every year. There was some good shots today at 7 including a power plant that was set in action many years ago. Rather than just a big intro dump near the beginning, I actually like how most information is in a plus given naturally to the characters. It flows naturally the course of 100 minutes, and it fits perfectly the world the movie's building. After Callahan wins a Poké Doll for Kelly at Carnival game, he bumps into Risa asking help for finding a rare Pokemon. We're not shown what it is yet, and by that Pokemon won't say just what it is yet either. Callahan tips her off, but Mia's not happy about his constant flights of fancy. Given we find out later, he kind of imagine Usopp in One Piece. Elsewhere, Torin's in a bind. It turns out someone who's hired to speak for research firm can't make it. So unless he can find a new speaker by tomorrow, Torin had to get a presentation himself. Unfortunately, while he is highly intelligent, his social skills and public speaking would leave much to be desired. Hood also comes into the firm to turn knock against the festival admins, but actually gets some extra Pokemon pheromone spilled on her. There still is some military music and gags, but there is a reason for just like a Pokemon in the middle of this. We'll get to that when the time comes. Before the catch race begins, we see Margot leaving an offering of some food and moo milk by a burnt out building in the forest outside the city. She speaks to a mysterious fable heading back on her way. We see her shouting some rally news before back in the city. As the catch race is about to begin, Reese is still in a search as Callahan and Ash are about to take part. There are numerous months of special markings on for the race, and the race portrays kind of like a special event in Pokemon Go. I think that's the first time that parts of the game have been adapted. There is an anime that works based on Niantic's previous game, Ingress. Still starts giving the races on. Ash manages to bag an Ekans in a pinch, but Callahan's doing pretty well thanks to borrowing stuff and touring instructions from him on the other end of the phone. Then, trouble occurs when with Tyranitar crashes through some vendor stands to get a wire tangled around its neck. I just realized I had to get it off and stop the beast before anyone gets hurt. The ensuing action scene that comes to chase Tyranitar to remove the wires and the quick piece of animation in the movie. Much like his work on Origins XY, Yaja really understands technical aspects of the series and able to create something that has like great dynamic camera angles and energetic movements. Having seen this once in the theater, on Disney XD, and again on the app to write this, I've been eager to talk about this ever since my first viewing. Ash gives chase to Tyranitar, as Callahan adds more catches to his score, also drawing the attention of Goofy Sudowoodo. The Tyranitar is free from the wire thanks to quick thinking, Pikachu's Iron Tail, and Ash doing some parkour in the city. Callahan wins a cash Ash award second place for helping save Tarantula civilians. The ends up standing more viable. Her. So kind of like a second trial of Goblet of Fire. As the next video on Pokemon Channel plays, just like how Squirtle on the train's looking at their trainer's phone playing it. Little details like this that make this movie so much fun. The sun sets the first day of this festival, and Risa's starting way up the mountains before she can find the Pokemon she wants to catch for her brother. Not only is area off limits, but it turns out the one in question can't be caught there. It's Eevee. Also, she looks like she had to fight someone to get more than just that. Her makeup almost looks like war paint. The next day, Ash agreed by Risa in the elevators of the hotel. Ash was help her after realizing she's been had. It's not the first time in 20 years that he's been accosted by someone who looks like a stalker. After she gets herself cleaned up, she, Ash, Pikachu and Eevee go find Eevee for real, and sure enough, there's one right outside the city as he agrees to help her make her first Pokemon catch her life. Though it's a bit tricky on his relative newcomer, and thanks to help from Ash and Pikachu, she manages to catch Eevee. As the two frolicking nearby feet, Risa again thanks Ash for his help, for real. She's not testing that she used to be regional champion for a track team, but hasn't ran much since the injured leg when she pushed herself too far. She has been recovering since then. There's one of the big moments of foreshadow role later in the movie for me. Ash is grateful he was able to lend a hand. I must once again see how impressive the animation is in this movie. Wasn't sure what to think of his next redesign at first, I actually really like it. It's a distinct TV show in its own way, and the effort integrates all three primary colors, known to all his previous clothes. Still don't want hard to make of all the art they made of him, but I can say he got some new profile pictures later for this movie. Heading back in the city, Harry is doing the antidote a fair amount of trying to give a first presentation. Callahan apparently agreed to do so next day Haynes for his help with the catch race. Mr. Troll reaching the firm of Visa confronts him about his lies. Someone also made a mess of the festival with rocks on the train tracks and soap and all the fountains. This seems a typical prank some of the kids in Lemon scene from before blames their organized curves, which Marge agrees with. Well, not quite what I expected. It seems eerily similar to Ab, so I'm laughing more with the misunderstood by into my head canon. So the speech of the firm does not go as planned, and Teamwork gets caught trying to steal an experimental pathogen. The ensuing commotion results in Eve getting clipped by the panicked crowds. I must say it's a pleasant surprise the musical of the Japanese movie is intact. Even I don't mind TPCI's edits as much as some other people do, I can't deny it's still really cool to hear the anime version of the Johto rival theme in a movie. Still my favorite rival theme to this day. Teamwork escapes in the mountains, but turns out to drop the violet pathogen and as they're fleeing the scene. While their role in the movies often varies, this time they were responsible, albeit unwittingly, for one of the central conflicts of the movie. I also noticed that all the conflicts are caused by characters in the movie, including what led to Zero being such a legend and myth. In fact, this may be among other firsts, the first Pokemon movie did not have any one major antagonist. In fact, the closest I can think of a couple of Pokemon who try to steal Zero Aura, they're quickly driven off after Ash and the others intervene. When Zero Aura is injured, the beast label holds its own. The known close combat gives an advantage over the Houndoom and Sneasel. That and its base test needs to be 1042 for training. Oliver then explains Haynes that 50 years ago the town was nearly consumed by forest fire, and Zero Aura's responsible for hiding. Once again, while it's different from the usual backstory of each movie, I still like how it handles the lore. The mayor then decides to stop perpetuating the life and living since that day. I guess this means I can't use that comparison to the mayor from Jaws I had in mind. His ancestor has another story. Just then, the vial from before explodes, releasing the patch in the air. Now, the climax of the movie begins as Ash realizes they want to help contain the toxin and save the city. So when the stuff in the eternal flame removes its pedestal, it must be returned to call Lugia and bring them back. So while the characters may well contribute to the movie's conflicts in some way, it also follows them to help resolve them. While Ash, Risa, and Margo will return the flame, protect their aura, everyone else will back in the city will help any way they can. Also know that each character's new personality reflects the story arc. Callahan's exaggerating needs to be more honest with himself and others. Harry is exclusive for a woman that needs to let others in. Twist needs self-confidence, most of all. Risa's athlete needs to believe in her abilities. Like the last movie, kind of reminded the Power Rangers reboot. I'm curious to see what Hasbro will do in another movie. When it's a sequel, another reboot, I welcome it. As the pathogen starts developing the city, the others start needing their help. Callahan and a team of pursued from earlier assistant helping evacuate the city and protecting me and Kelly from further harm. Twin doubles back to the lab, and after opening up to his college and a senior, starts creating an antidote for the pathogen. Team Rocket even helps by giving him the lumbays I was selling earlier, which must secure any ailment. Harriet, while initially reluctant to help them with Pokemon, finds no keener possession when she was younger. Just an explosion occurs which knocks the power of the festival and starts a fire in the mountains. So Aura, sensing danger, then heads a scene of flash and lightning. So even hasn't fully recovered from his injuries, he introduces the can return to flame the beacon in time. With no time to lose, she puts her hair up, moves forward, and heads off. I must say this is a very effective scene. The sound starting on the background as music starts was a very nice touch. Her brother Rick is also able to guide her through the flames from the quest way of the beacon. It's maybe a different kind of action scene than the final battle of the Peak of Mount Tensei in the last movie. Still a great scene, and in an age where many blockbusters make the final act only one big final battle of very degrees of success. It's also revealed that it was the same 550 years ago that as would have Harriet's trust to Pokemon. The blazing of killing her Snubbull and burning her hand. Still, both Callahan and Spirit of a Snubbull encourage her to go on. Forgive the meme in this tense scene, but Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Well, not quite as dark as the last movie in some respects, this one is darker than it was supposed to have narrative and characterization. The new continuity that follows not only helps the precedent set by previous movies, but also takes material seriously the same way the 1960s Transformers movie and the first 299's Team and Team movies did. You fellas definitely earned that PG rating. Zero's also reached a state of music station move a plasma fist, able to quite literally electrify Ash and Pikachu for final battle. The way the attacks clash is spectacular, and even though Pikachu's only monster Ash has lost this movie, this is one of the best parts of it. The antidote has been completed now, the old power station must be restarted with spirits in the air. Elsewhere, the battle with Pikachu and Zero continues as one can call across over the attacks. While he at first seems like he's bought the fire when he's waking by a reap like his face. Well, at least it didn't get disintegrated this time. Zero takes Ash by the hand as he puts his hat back on, they all get to work helping contain the fire. As Callahan tears out the old power plant, tornarized with the antidote. They only have one shot, but the Callahan still rolled up the capsule in the fan that explodes a flash of light. Pikachu, Zero, and so other Dr. Pokemon have reiterated the sprinkler system in the stadium. We were just able to get the flame back to the beacon just in time to call Lugia. I must say, I really love this ritual in front of the dawning sun, and they turn the winds on its wings seems like a teal, triumphant moment to help end this movie on. The winds return to Fula City, finally putting out the fires, ensuring good fortune another year. Also, while I haven't mentioned this all that much, I actually kind of like the detail of the dirt uses feet from around the beacon and swim in pristine condition. Really see it in any animation. So, we close this movie on Mayor Oliver forgiving Zero for his ancestors' past transgressions. Everyone sends balloons in the sky. We see the current little girl and her mother. Watch on the balcony of a hotel. The title card comes up, or the animation reveals for intro music. We also got a couple stingers where Risa brings back Eevee to Risa brings back the Eevee she promised. And also finds out he was the host of the Pokemon channel disguised talking his voice digitally. I bet he'd make a good online streamer. The second stinger is Ash being to head another next adventure. As I've stated before, the main thing I want from User Strikes Back Evolution is for it to be good. Hope it's better evolution than Dragon Ball Evolution. As someone who loved the actress Yu movie last year, I'm quite pleased to say the movie's expanded was done there and managed by a unique experience on the anime as well as for digging source material. Because I would say the future is in good hands, and this movie follows standards set for animation and story creation with Yadro's work on the XY Series X and Origins miniseries. This sets Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, will caught up on Pokemon Go and Generation 8 on the way for the Nintendo Switch. What lies ahead for this series definitely looks like a bright future. My final rating is 4 out of 4. Whatever I decide to do in 2019, I want to thank everyone for all the good me with years. Bang.